And I think wrestling, we've talked about it before, I think that's probably where you see it the most. I mean, where guys get lost in their character, they get lost in that life, and they don't understand how to
pull away from it.
And unfortunately, I think it's not even their fault sometimes, right? I think sometimes people have this expectation that you're always the Undertaker.
You're always on. You're always on.
You're supposed to be the Undertaker.
Yeah.
Ric Flair has to be Ric Flair.
Woo!
And
he is. But.
Yes. But I mean, I think that's the thing is like, I think a lot of people, they look at professional wrestlers because they play this character or they are this character on TV.
Yep.
And the good ones, like the Undertakers of the world and the Ric Flairs and the Hulk Hogans and all these people that have these long Hall of Fame careers, they do it so good, and that's why they're able to have this Hall of Fame career because they built this character and they were this good with this character.
Yep.
And I think there's so many people expect them to be that
24/7
at a restaurant on a Thursday night when they're sitting there with their wife and kids.
Yeah.
And that's difficult, you know? And I think a lot of those guys, though, they don't know how to separate that sometimes.
Yep.
They don't know how to be just Mark.
Yep.
You know? Yep. I think you've done a really good job over the last couple of years of, I mean, I know it was tough, but I mean, I think you've done a really good job of.
Yeah. It just, and you know, a lot of the things that you were saying really resonates with me as far as cutting it off, and it took me a long time to figure that out because I was Undertaker all the time.
Yep.
And you know, it took my wife and my kids to be able to like, okay, this is where I really want to be now at this part of my life, and it helped me shut that door because everyone had always expected me to be Undertaker, and you know, and I'd always expected to be I knew it was going to come one day.
Yeah,
but I really didn't. You know, it was just like
So how did you one, I never forget when you came to Seattle, Washington, and you were at the Comcast Arena, and you came out there, you did something with Kane, and I was in the back, and you know, and I was like, hey, and, you know, you're like, you're the and you do your and I was like, it's okay, boys, like,
there he is.
Yeah, there he is.
He's
So how did you, like, you know, I'm so active, right? I haven't, you know, retired, but how did you, as an athlete at a high level, how did you come to terms when it was like, hey, you know what, baby, I'm about to lay in that casket. I'm done. Bye, Undertaker. I love you. And now I'm just Mark. You don't call me Undertaker anymore. You call me Mark. So how did you, you know, navigate that? Because I haven't done it yet, and I haven't talked. I think you're the first athlete that I'm talking to about like that transition when you're like, I'm done. Like, I don't, because a lot of people are like, you're Mighty Mouse. You can do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm still fast. I can still fight if I choose to. But there's gonna be a time where the mouse doesn't want the cheese anymore. The mouse is gonna stay in his hole and not get caught in the trap.
Yeah.
Walk me through, like.
Well, that's once those feelings start creeping in, you got to listen to them because what you do is way too dangerous just to do it to because somebody's telling you that's what you need to do. Once you start getting that not that self-doubt, but it's you have to crave what you do. I think you have to crave to be in there to prove that you know you're the best fighter at your weight division. For me. The decision was more, it was made for me, just like I said, when we talked earlier, Father Time, you know, my body just couldn't deliver what I wanted it to do anymore. Like I said, in my mind and in my heart, I still wanted to be out there doing it.
Yeah.
And I pushed, you know, I was looking for that perfect ending. You know, I was looking for that Dan Marino,
best quarterback ever.
Wow, you just oh my gosh.
It's my favorite guest of all time.
Oh, you just made the number one for him. Oh my I was talking about was Dan Elway. The Dan Elway finish, right? He wins 2 Super Bowls. John Elway. I'm
the second best quarterback in that class.
Anyway, John Elway. Gosh, I'll never hear the end of that. John Elway ending wins 2 Super Bowls, rides off into the sunset, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like for me, I was looking for this, just the match. I was looking for that match where I could hang my hat on and say, there it is, boys. Go get it, right?
Yep.
And it was just, I was at the point where my body just couldn't deliver what my mind's eye saw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I listened to my body, you know, but my mind and my heart weren't there yet. So there was a time I had to catch up,
inner conflict,
and figure out, you know, how to fill that void. And man, I discovered podcasting, and it's really been awesome. No.
Well, I think the other part to you is you're a perfectionist as well, though.
Well,
right?
yeah.
And that's where like you're not going to have in your head what the match that you want is WrestleMania 25.
Yeah.
And you want that as your last match, but you didn't want WrestleMania 25 to be your last match.
Right.
And WrestleMania 25, pound for pound of his match, may not just be the best Undertaker match, but it's one of the best wrestling matches ever. But even with that match, you talk about one thing in that match, probably more than anything, and it was the dive.
Yeah. The dive.
And it's like, and you talk about that in a manner of the mistake I made, and you'll say, man, I had almost a perfect match except for this one thing, and you're such a perfectionist when it comes to that you're never going to have that perfect last match. I don't think. You know what I mean?
Well, and that, that's just. I don't think anybody does. But then
you're chasing it. Though.
It's like, you're chasing the dragon, man. You're just. You know, I know it's in there. I've had it. I've had it once, right? I know it's in there.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, and you fool yourself into like, okay, I know that I don't move this well. But I can do this, and I can do this, and I'm smart enough to know this. And then, you know, things start happening, and like, wow, these kind of things don't happen to me. But, you know, like the Goldberg match. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I had this match with Goldberg in Saudi Arabia, and it was just it was horrible. And you know, he hurt his head, and it was hot, and just a bunch of things went wrong. And normally when things like that would happen, like I pick up on it, I know exactly what to do, how to fix this, how to go to plan B and make everything, you know, and I didn't do it. I couldn't do it, so, you know, and you know, there's time off involved and all that too, where I'm not as sharp. So yeah, it's tough when you don't have. You could just ride that horse too long sometimes.
I love that. Ride that horse too long. I've been trying to find little things to tell people. Like one of them is like, boys, when you go to a party and then you're having a couple beers, you have a couple drinks and all that shit, and the next you know you have 5, 6, 8, 9. You end up drunk. You end up with a horrible donkey. That's when you should have stopped at 2. Like you don't want to stay. You don't want to stay.
All of a sudden you're wrestling the dude that I wrestled at 145.
I always tell people, I said, man, you don't want to be there when the lights come on. Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like,